Hello, friends. It is with great pleasure that as Jupiter has just moved into Leo, and I also have Jupiter in Leo in my third house of communication, that I am going to be showing up fearlessly, authentically as I am. I know I've moved through a lot of challenges lately, especially in the last 2 years, the last month or so being one of the hardest of those. But anyway, if I don't begin to show up authentically and share what I know, the wisdom that I have learned from others, and all of these modalities, all of these wonderful spiritual tools that I've learned and gained all this knowledge within, I would be doing a disservice if I wasn't sharing authentically. And so, through my feminine energy healing journey and my spiritual journey, which that has been like 15 years and counting now, it wasn't until the last several years I really began to realize how I was living in hard and toxic masculine energy to the point where I couldn't even see beyond that. I was closed off to the soft, feminine, divine, flowing nature. And that was harming me a lot more than I could have realized. The more I go back and look and reflect, I don't think I've been in healthy feminine energy for years up until within like the last year and a half, I would say. And that's really brought things into perspective. Sometimes to the point where there's no words to express how I feel fully, or maybe I just don't know what to say because my neurodivergent self doesn't have the words, because sometimes the feelings are overwhelming, and thus I felt pulled back to share and that sort of thing. But Jupiter shifted into Leo not very long ago, and it is my Jupiter return for the next year. And so shortly before Leo season began, I was already tuning into this energy of Leo and Jupiter in Leo. So Leo energy to me is very inspirational. It inspires me to push beyond boundaries I've kept myself stuck within and to move beyond those and advocate for myself as an autistic woman, as a neurodivergent human, as a spiritual being living a human experience in every way that I can think of, every way that feels authentic to me. And so I share on YouTube. I'm not present on any other social media. This is where I feel at home, and this is where I'm going to remain. So I've had many periods where I have this flood of ideas. I always have lists in my journals, in my notes, in my phone that I can go and seek inspiration from. But without any hesitation, I've been hearing calls to speak and share my messages, and I have the time and creating the time to tune in and share what I need to, what I'm being guided to, rather. And so I invite you to get curious as to where Jupiter lies within your natal chart, what sign is Jupiter within for you? Perhaps you are having your Jupiter return if you're anywhere around my age. I don't recall how long Jupiter changes like every year. So like if you're around like 35 as I am, you're in your Jupiter return as well. So welcome to your Jupiter return. So with that being said, I invite you to get curious as to what house Jupiter is in for you, because this is the area that energy will show up the most within your world. So as my personal example, I have Jupiter and Leo in my third house. Jupiter is about expansion, abundance, and growth mindset. And Leo is courageous, inspirational, steadfast, fixed fire. Leo does not look back. Leo shows up bravely, authentically, and courageously. Leo doesn't care what other people think. Leo shows up boldly and proudly for what matters, what they're passionate and courageous about, what they dream about, sharing and releasing the lower sides of Leo, that constant need for validation or attention, approval from others, that if they don't have approval from others, that they're not legitimate or what they're doing isn't valid. We want to erase that negative mindset and lower energy that Leo possesses and lean into the higher energy of Leo, which is courageous, bold, leadership, passion, fire, inspiration to move forward and not look back, not caring what others think, not seeking validation or approval from others, but being open to energy as it comes back to you. Leo is about honoring the abundance that comes to you, taking that aligned action, which is leaning into healthy, divine, masculine energy. It's shedding the layers that no longer serve you, which ties into the spiritual experience as a whole, individually and collectively. And I know it is so important to shed those layers. Being a Scorpio sun, right? I'm all about evolving and transforming again and again. Being okay with it is okay to change your mind. Your style is going to change throughout your life, your quote personal style, whatever that looks and feels like for you. Wear what you feel good in. Color analysis can be lovely and insightful. I've never had one done per se, but I've observed insights from ladies who've had one done. But wear what colors that make you feel good, wear styles you feel confident in, and know that may change from one day to the next, because the feminine body is meant to evolve throughout our inner seasons, which we have 4 seasons here in the northern hemisphere as an example, and as women we have 4 seasons as well. So I invite you to be curious about that, and that can be a topic for another video. But anyway, back to Jupiter and Leo. Jupiter is about expansion, luck, growth, abundance. What blessings you have. What do you need to be honoring that perhaps you're not? What do you need to be leaning further into? So for me, Jupiter and Leo, third house, looks like leaning into communication. How can I improve what I share, how I share it, what it looks like and feels like for me, and how I can really lean into showing up authentically, unapologetically, as the Leo lion does. And releasing anything that comes up as I need to. And my personal experience and just present now, it is a challenge to share my own voice, and it is a constant practice for me to be okay sharing my voice, to hear my voice in any recording, and be okay with how I sound, and not attaching any feelings or judgment of my own voice, and know that what I say is powerful, and intention behind how I share and what I share is what matters. And releasing any judgment, any emotion that comes up, any insecurity about my own voice, being that I don't feel legitimate to share, or my voice sounds weird, or I'm too loud, I'm too quiet, anything like that. Forget all that. Release all that bullshit. It doesn't matter. This is a journey in throat chakra healing for me, that throat energy center. And so just practicing using and sharing my voice helps to heal that, as I've gone through all of my life to slowly share my voice. It's something that I consistently have to work through and practice, and the more that I share, the more I'm called to do things like this. Yes? So the third house in astrology is about how you communicate, how you show up for others and yourself, of course. It can also be the house of siblings, me being an only. I don't relate to that. I have no biological siblings, but I've had people that feel like siblings to me that are not related. But something that has shown up, especially in the last 10 years for me, is how to form healthy boundaries. That entails boundaries with myself, my energy, my time, who I talk to, what I share and whom I share with, knowing how much is too much to share. And it's been in years of gently pushing boundaries in others to establish what their boundaries are. And that has slowly become easier just with time and effort, like anything. And so being okay that I wasn't taught boundaries very well growing up, but know that you can always learn things you didn't learn very well or in a healthy manner at all later too. Doesn't matter when you learn these lessons, it's your intention and how you choose to shift and grow. So Jupiter in Leo is shall I say, a magical, inspirational time. So this whole next year, I consider it a time full of abundance and blessings for me to grow and share And I look forward to what that brings, truly. In many ways, I feel lighter than I did this time 2 years ago. In other ways, I certainly feel heavier. But that's okay, because there is duality within everything, truly. And if there was not duality, meaning, for example, we can't live without the dark, shadowy periods. We need those in order to radiate and embrace our light. Because you can tell if someone is radiating light that is not genuine. I can feel inauthenticity very quickly, unless someone's extremely good at hiding it. But wherever you are with that, honor it. Know that it is okay to question your experience and what you're feeling. Also, remember to stay present and ground your energy so that you can show up to share your gifts and knowledge and wisdom. You have to show up for yourself first so that you can more effectively, intentionally give to the collective. With that being said, I want to offer a balance of both free and paid offerings with all of the things that I have learned and grown within the last 10 plus years. So you can expect me to share things with yoga, Pilates, Reiki, tarot, astrology, all of these wonderful things that I've spent a lot of time and energy within. And I want to share those here. And if you're ever so curious, please DM me here on YouTube. It's cool that we have that feature now, as it is something that I miss having access to, not being on other social media platforms. Or you can simply email me at embodiment.healingarts@gmail.com and we can discuss what you're interested in. I'm very much interested in tailoring a unique experience to the individual. So an example of what that might look like, say you are interested in a natal chart reading, but you're also interested in having a personal tarot reading. So with that said, I can simply combine the two. I can give a natal chart reading and then some personal insight with tarot to support that energy for you. Also, another example could be one-on-one yoga virtually, and then interweaving insights within that, weaving in either spiritual, like a spiritual poem, or tarot, like an important message like about the hero's journey within that, and making that a theme within the yoga for that day, for that session. I want to create something that takes what I know so I can help people grow and nudge them in a more aligned direction or path. I don't want to be, quote, like how everyone else is doing things. I can pick pieces that inspire me, but I'm here to make it my own. Because as a Scorpio woman, that is incredibly important for me to honor my own truth and to share my own truth as that unfolds. And know at the same time that nothing is absolute with it, that I'm allowed to pivot and change my mind. So if you're feeling called to go deeper within, to maybe explore yoga or Reiki virtually, feel free to reach out. I will be sharing and creating some free offerings just so you have an idea of what it may look like to work one-on-one. But feel free to embrace everything with an open heart, mind, and spirit. And together we will unfold individually and collectively, because also something deep has been transforming over the last year and a half, not just within me, but collectively. We are moving within what's called the first wave of ascension, and something that is so powerful and potent that only so many words can really fully explain. Not everything is how it once was. Everything feels more divine, aligned for the highest good of myself, the highest good of everyone individually and collectively. Not everyone is aware of this feeling or sensation either, though. You have to remain spiritually open enough to accept what you are feeling and experiencing. But also, being an openly spiritual woman, I'm not really attached to labels either. I've played around with them throughout the last 15 years. And sure, I resonate with some. Do I fully resonate with labels, like as a whole? No. It is fun to dabble and like play around and be like, oh, does this feel good? How does this feel? Really, it's a combination of a bunch of things for me. And know that will shift with time, effort, and experience. But I don't think I would be where I am with everything if it weren't for committing to heal my own feminine energy. And with that also, I feel I'm at a place where I can help others release any toxic, heavy masculine energy and move from that unhealthy, toxic, masculine, hard masculine energy. Like, I'm talking so hard that you can't see the other side, like I mentioned. Please reach out if you're feeling called to shift that energy, because I can help guide you in a more aligned direction of what to release and how you can show up in a softer feminine. Because a major part that goes into a healthy feminine, soft, divine feminine energy is being open to receive, not closing yourself off to things people offer you, not being like, well, I need to be in charge of every area of my life. I don't need a man, or I can do everything myself. No. We're not meant to live like that. We're meant to follow and to submit to our man, to your man, to your partner. if you don't, it's going to affect the relationship within time. You're not meant to control everything, every part of your partner. You're meant to shine and support and to be motherly to any children and pets that you may have. To be so unapologetically in your soft feminine essence, and to release the need to feel like you need to be in charge of everything. It is the man's job to step up and take charge for you, to protect you spiritually and help guide you, as it is the woman's job to be the complement to that and nurture and support, submit to their partner, husband, boyfriend, whatever. We need to continue to shift the narrative and to teach women that it is healthy to honor that divine feminine essence that we all have. Male or female, we all have it. And we need a balance of the masculine and feminine energy. Because without the yin, there is no yang. Without the yang, there is no yin. So it's balance of divine masculine and feminine. And so, Jupiter and Leo, this whole next year, through my Jupiter return, I'm looking forward to whatever comes up. I am not placing limits on my expansion. I am leaping forward and I'm not going to look back. I'm releasing people who do not support me as my neurodivergent, quirky self, as anybody who doesn't see me or accept me for my autistic self. I'm completely done. If you don't respect me for who I am, feel free to leave. I'm done. I'm here to be authentic and to help you show up authentically as you are. Whatever you choose to see or do, that's out of my control, because I can't control anybody. No matter how much I might want to, I can't control others' actions. So I invite you to grow, to be more open and considerate of others' experiences. Know that we are all moving through something, and it is your duty to be kind, because you never truly know what someone's moving through unless they tell you. Whoever that is for, there you have it. So leaning into abundance and growth mindset, spiritually, mentally, physically, all the ways. Because through my mid-30s and beyond, I want to really focus on how I can grow into a healthier mind, body, and spirit. Always learning, but never being fully attached to having to heal all the time either, because we do need periods to rest in order to grow and implement the things intentionally. And not just whatever rest looks like to you. A balance of rest, work, and play is what I strive for. And without a balance between all those, something is going to feel off. And with anyone who's neurodivergent as myself, it is important to create a healthy balance in all those areas. Neurodivergent or not, it is important, honestly. So if you're feeling imbalanced with any particular area of your life, I invite you to get curious, to journal and question how you can shift energetically, what you need to release, who you need to release, all of that. Because Jupiter and Leo within this whole next year, if it's your Jupiter return or perhaps not yet, I invite you to get curious with the energy you are experiencing. Focus on that expansion to share and create authentically, to share your voice how you're meant to fully lean in to being unapologetic like the Leo lion. And what area Leo is for you. If you do not have Jupiter in Leo, find where Leo lies within your natal chart, what house Leo is for you, and focus on the corresponding house, because that is the area you will feel Leo energy the deepest. What a wonderful and radiant experience it is. And know that it is moments and times like these that keep me moving forward to do what I am doing and what I want to provide and grow into. It's time for me to really lean into not consuming as much and creating more. It can be hard to always implement a balance between consuming and creation, but I'm really going to focus on creating more than I consume. But just know that will take time like anything else. So I was also guided to pull from my Everyday Witch Oracle deck too. So I have some oracle messages to share. Meditation for clarity. You see the lady and her cat are looking into the pond here. So this is your invitation to really become quiet and ask what you want, not what someone else wants for you. If that means pursuing a goal, a life goal, a career, like a primary career and then something on the side, or maybe switching things up entirely because something's not feeling right. Could be a shift to where you study too. Maybe it's where and what you study, or perhaps it's one of the aspects. But just know that the more you reflect and think about what you truly want, the more you remain quiet enough to hear the whispers of your soul, that clarity will come. Can never be forced. Intuition is never something to force. It should flow naturally without the need to feel perfect. Intuition is authentic as it is. It has this feeling of being authentic, deep within the soul, but it can also be authentic to a quieter extent where you just, nothing forced, only flow. We have give into passion. How lovely with Jupiter and Leo for the next month, especially if it's your Jupiter return as it is for me. you see there is a woman and a cat and other animals enjoying simple pleasures of life, what really brings love and joy to them. Maybe it means becoming one with nature and not looking back, spending more time walking outside, grounding your feet into the earth, focusing on any grounding practices so that you can authentically show up and share what brings your heart joy and love. So it's just bliss and joy, enjoying all the simple and beautiful creations that surround you too, because that's very much Jupiter and Leo. It's being unapologetic and embracing the little things and sharing your radiance through your own spiritual experience. We have air magic. So there is a guy holding a feather and what looks to be a falcon here, and there's some incense to symbolize the air, and there's this sunshine that's radiating down. To me, this is being clear about what you want, how you express yourself authentically, not caring about what it looks like aesthetically, but just being fiercely authentic. You know, it's those people you come across that are unafraid of showing up as they are. They don't care if they have a bunch of makeup on or not. Maybe their hair's not perfect, quote, or they're just showing up as they are, basically, and not looking back from that. So less of caring about what others think or perceive of you, and more of leaning into what feels true for you. And this is also throat chakra as well, because what you say has power. Words are spells that we speak out into existence. So be very mindful of what you say, because that energy will return back to you, as all energy that you put out comes back to you. Maybe not right away or in the same week or day, but it will come back through perhaps a person in the future. So just really be mindful and intentional with what you do and say, especially with what you say, because your words do have power, more than you might be aware of at the time too. So really pay attention to what you say. Take some more time before you speak and say what you impulsively want to. And I'm also talking to myself, because I have to work on this actively every day. As a deep watery Scorpio, I do have a lot of Sagittarius fire too, so there you have it. And then we have meditation for creativity. Yeah, really leaning into expressing how you're meant to show up right now creatively. And that creative expression, that divine feminine energy, really leaning into it. Focus on creating and being supportive within your relationship, nurturing people and animals. Less focus on what does not matter less focus on having to be in control of your situation, because let's be honest, none of us are fully in control. Spirit is. This is radiating your creations, putting your divine feminine out into the collective, and just embracing what you create as you create it, not necessarily having a set plan, but just focusing on intuitively creating. So a lot of what I talked about also showed up in these cards, and I am an intuitive reader, so that's how it works. Remember, no coincidences. Synchronicities live here, right? So be clear as to what it is you truly want, what you want for yourself, not what someone else wants for you. Give into your passion unapologetically. That means creating videos on YouTube, creating dance videos, or anything that feels aligned for you. Because this is also a call to action to move any stagnant energy out of your body. The more we're still, the more stagnant we will feel. Stillness and stagnancy. We need to move our bodies around. We're not meant to be stagnant all the time. We are designed to go out and share, to focus on our mission, and to not look back. But no, we're meant to also nurture ourselves so that we can show up in the world, right? Because the creativity part we have to give to ourselves so that we can create more authentically and not be attached to any given creative process, and just let ourselves intuitively flow. Remember, no force, only flow. And then remember the air magic, being mindful of what you say, how you say it, thinking before you speak also, because our words do carry power. Our words are spells. Whether you realize that or not, I invite you to get curious about it. So, lots of beautiful energy for self-reflection, aligned action, and creative expression to think about. And so within the next month, we will be feeling this Jupiter and Leo energy. So again, be curious as to where Leo lies within your natal chart. What house is Leo in? And what planets you have with that Leo energy. Okay? And also, where does Jupiter lie within your chart? What sign is Jupiter in for you? If it's not Leo, what sign is it in? So I like to think of it, astrology, in 3 basic pieces to help get anybody started. That would be noting the planet, the sign, the zodiac sign, and the house. So the planet, for example, Jupiter, sign, Leo, house, 3rd house. Blending those energies together, gaining a stable understanding of those energies, and then making them your own. Because remember, you can learn a guideline to help launch you to where you need to go, and it is so important to not take everything at face value too. Also talking to myself, because I need the reminder as well. Being a very literal autistic, it does surprise me how intuitive I am. I won't lie. But pay attention to the planets, signs, and houses with within your entire natal chart. If you're more curious about what that looks and feels like, please reach out. DM me here on YouTube or email at embodiment.healingarts@gmail, and I will also put that info in the description if you're curious about that. I look forward to how this journey continues to unfold over time, especially within the next month through my Jupiter return. So thank you for being here and for listening, and I look forward to how you show up authentically, whatever that looks and feels like for you as well. Have a beautiful day, and I encourage you to find a balance of taking aligned action, creative expression, work, play, and rest. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. Namaste.